Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to share a story that stays with me every time I think about it. It's about a boy from Odisha. A boy who wasn't famous, wasn't powerful, and honestly didn't even get much time on this earth. But in those 12 short years, he showed a kind of courage most adults never find. His name was Baji Rout. And if you haven't heard this story, I hope this episode gives you something to carry with you. So let me take you back for a moment. It's the late 1930s. A small riverside village called Nilakantapur in the district of Dhenkanal, which is in Odisha. Life is simple. Families mostly are farmers. Children's, as you know, they play across the river, there is a famous river. The name is Brahmani River, which is like flowing through the village. And in that small village lives Baji Rout. Also, we can call him Baji. He born in 1926. A kid who helped his family manage a tiny ferry across the river. Just imagine him, 12 years old, doing chores, learning responsibility, watching the world around him. But the world around him wasn't peaceful. Dhenkanal was struggling under oppressive rule of Britishers. People wanted dignity, fairness, and a voice, and for which a protest had begun to spread. Even as a child, Baji absorbed all of this. He wasn't just doing chores, he was paying attention. He joined a youth group called Banarasena, which is literally translated as an army of monkeys, created by freedom fighter Vaishnav Charan Patnaik. Now, this wasn't a fighting force, it was a children helping pass messages, keeping watch, supporting peaceful protests. It gave young kids a sense of purpose, like they mattered in the movement for change, in the movement for fighting for freedom. Then come the night that changed everything. It was October 1938. Tensions in the region were high. Protests were erupting against the Britishers, and the authorities were searching for leaders of the uprising. That night, a group of armed police forces were moving along the river. They were in a hurry. They wanted to cross the Brahmani River to chase down activists hiding on the other side. And guess who was at the river bank, tending the ferry as a part of his regular duty? It's our Baji. So a 12-year-old boy standing alone at the river crossing. The officers ordered him to ferry them across. And no one would have blamed a child for being scared. No one would have questioned him if he had stepped aside. But Baji, being Baji, understood exactly what would happen if he helped them. He understood that lives were at risk on the other side. And so calmly and firmly, he said no. Not angrily, not defiantly, just no. A simple refusal rooted in courage. That moment, that tiny word was an act of resistance bigger than he probably realized. So the officers were definitely furious. There was shouting, confusion, and in the chaos that followed, Baji lost his life. A 12-year-old boy who refused to help injustice became the youngest known martyr of India's freedom struggle. But here is the thing. That night didn't silence him, it amplified him. When news spread, Odisha was shaken. People mourned, but they also felt pride in a child who had shown the purest form of courage. One of the Odia poet, Sachidanand Rautrai, later wrote verses that carried Baji's name across generations. His memory grew stronger than the man who tried to silence him. And that brings me to why I wanted to share this story with you today. Sometimes We think history is shaped only by kings, warriors, big leaders. But so often, it's the everyday people who change everything. A boy in a small village, standing on a quiet river bank, making a decision not because he wanted glory, but because he knew what was right. Baji teaches us something powerful. Courage has nothing to do with age. You don't need to be older to stand for something meaningful. Integrity isn't loud. Sometimes the bravest thing in the world is a simple refusal. Ordinary people carry extraordinary strength. And maybe the biggest lesson of all, one small act of conscience can echo for a generation. So the next time you feel small or powerless or unsure whether your choice matters, remember Baji Rout, a 12-year-old boy from Odisha who stood by the river, stood by his people, and showed an entire nation what courage really looks like. So with that, I will conclude my story. Thank you for listening. If you like Baji Rout's story, or if it taught you something new about Odisha's history, I would really appreciate it if you could rate the podcast, follow it, or leave a like, whatever your podcasting platform allows. It helps more people discover stories like this, stories that deserve to be heard. Alright, take care. I will see you next time.